Time for the second video in the series in which I encourage you to write more persuasively. It's going to be useful. Schofield on Shakespeare.
In my first video, whilst first stressing the importance of avoiding over-reliance on persuasive techniques, we explored the 5 devices shown on screen. If you're not sure what some of these terms mean and you'd like to find out more, go back and watch this first video in this series. In this video now, I'm going to introduce you to 5 similarly useful persuasive techniques. Whilst referencing the past Edexcel question on screen now, which is taken from the November 2019 Paper 2 Non-Fiction and Transactional Writing, question 9. This question references that distressing modern phenomenon of discrimination and invites us to fret. Have a look at part of my response. Can you identify particular techniques which makes the writing more persuasive? Press pause to read, think and jot down a few ideas. This video will resume in 5 seconds time. The most obvious technique used here is the over-the-top repetition of that. Our dear local MP is that democratic link, that beacon of hope, that bastion of decency, that ever-present representative. This technique is known as congeries, the piling up of phrases for dramatic effect. Here, I deliberately build up the MP with lots of positive phrases, only to deflate this at the end of the sentence in order to spotlight the fact that he has the ability and prominence to do something about discrimination, but is choosing not to, at least according to my arguments. Congeries invariably result in a very long sentence. However, just be careful that you don't miss out a main clause. The that phrases are effectively surrogate subjects, but you need to have the clause containing the main verb afterwards in order for the sentence to make grammatical sense. Notice also the repetition of brave, but with the first brave used as an adjective and the second with a different meaning as a verb. This is known as antonoclasis. Again, these clever sound repetitions work most effectively in a speech, but here, within a letter to a newspaper, both the adverb purportedly and the use of the verb brave, meaning deal with an unpleasant or difficult situation, emphasise the utterly unbrave weaknesses of the local MP. Why won't he tackle discrimination head on? Of course, this use of antonoclasis comes within a trusty rhetorical question, that tried and tested persuasive technique that you will have been using for at least the past 5 years. Just spend a minute jotting down these rhetorical devices. Press pause now. Now, have a go at writing your own short paragraph which could be part of a longer response to the task on the screen. Aim to use a rhetorical question, congeries and antonoclasis. Grab your pen, it's pause time. Here's another paragraph now taken from the same task. Can you identify any other techniques which make the writing more persuasive? Press pause to read, think and jot down a few ideas. Note the splendidly disingenuous phrases I won't dwell on and I'll also pass over. This is an example of occultatio. In this example, this paints the writer as someone who is determined not to dish the dirt before doing exactly that. It makes the writer seem somehow honourable. He isn't going to stoop to personal attacks on this MP who apparently is not doing all he should in relation to scourging the local area of discrimination before doing exactly that. Note also the name dropping of someone famous and wise. This, of course, by extension, makes the writer seem a little wiser and more knowledgeable. And within this name-dropping, note the use of antimetaboly. Once again, this is most obvious and effective in a speech. It sounds neat and memorable. But such parallelism also works well on the page and can make you seem cleverer and thought-provoking. What I'm trying to suggest here is that the MP is spending too much time at dinner parties rather than using food as a fuel to live, e.g. do something more productive and useful for mankind, such as attacking head-on the scourge of discrimination. Spend a minute now jotting down these useful persuasive techniques. It's pause time. Now have a go at writing another short paragraph which could be part of a longer response to the task on screen. Aim to use antimetaboly and occultatio. Grabbing your pen, press pause.
Time for some revision. What can you remember about the 5 persuasive techniques introduced in this video?
Question 1. What technique is used by a chastened Leontes observing the statue of his supposedly dead wife? Press pause to write down your answer. Antonoclasis. First we have the literal meaning of stone, i.e. the stone statue, and then the figurative one, i.e. Leontes' previously stone-cold heart. Question 2. What technique is used by that doomed meddler Polonius convinced that Hamlet is mad? Press pause to write down your answer. Antimetaboly, as seen in the symmetrical reversal of true and pity. Question 3. What technique is used by Hamlet as he torments himself with thoughts of his mother's rapid remarriage? Press pause to write down your answer. This, of course, is a painful rhetorical question for our tormented hero. Question 4. What technique does Ronald Reagan use in the 1984 US presidential campaign debates in order to humorously anticipate criticism of his own age of 73? Press pause to write down your answer. Occultatio. In these words, Reagan anticipates criticism of his age and humorously flips this criticism on its head by saying that he won't draw attention to his opponent's, Walter Mondale's, too youthful age. Now, at the time, Mondale was 56, not, say, 26, and so these lines will clearly be seen as a clever, deflecting joke at his own expense. Question 5. What technique is used below as I try to persuade the reader to support Crystal Palace? Press pause to write down your answer. Congeries. The piling up of noun phrases is intended here to build up excitement about those wondrous boys in red and blue.
This has been a Schofield on Shakespeare production, encouraging you to think once again about writing more persuasively. Many thanks for watching. Stay safe.